Welcome to the Marketing Mortgages Social for Brokers podcast. Now, today I have with me a guest who I know a lot of people will be dying to hear from because it was a very listened to episode when we released it nearly over 3 years ago now. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll recognise the face. It's Kylie Ann from CAG Financial. So I'm sure she'll give us a bit of a wave, but if you're listening, you won't be able to see that. If you don't follow us on YouTube, head over to our YouTube channel, which is Social for Brokers, and you can watch it live there. So, as I said, we had Kylie Ann back on the podcast in 2021, and more recently, we had her on an episode for when we did the Primis Live interview. So you can go back and listen to those, but it's great to have her back on today. Now, Kylie Ann has grown her company now to a team of 8 staff, been smashing it on social media with the likes of TikTok. She's got over 90,000 likes on TikTok now. Today, we're going to talk about how she's grown the company, how she manages the business as well as advising, and at the same time doing lots of great social media content. So, Kylie Ann, welcome back onto the podcast.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back on. So, last time we spoke was at the Primis Live event, March last year, where we were snowed in, weren't we? Remember?
We were, yeah, I do remember. It's not much warmer today, to be fair.
No, it's not. It's we're recording this kind of end of April, so it's still a bit chilly. But in that one, I'll tell you what, we'll start it here. How do you take your tea? We started off with that question last year.
You hated my answer last year. Really milky. Really milky. In fact, where I used to work, they used to call it a baby tea.
just half and half, tea and milk, yeah. Right, we'll skip past the tea question then. We'll go past that one. But thank you very much for coming back on. I appreciate you are very busy because you're running CAG Financial, but you're also doing Infinite Wills as well, aren't you? So you've got quite a few things, as well as running 2 marathons in how many weeks apart?
4 weeks it'll be.
So you did Manchester Marathon last week? And then you're doing another one.
And then I've got Leeds coming up, yeah.
Wow, incredible. And then in between that, you're squeezing in between a 12-hour CrossFit challenge as well?
Yeah, 12-hour CrossFit competition, yeah.
How do you not fall asleep at work, Kylie Ann? How does that...
I'm like a Duracell bunny. I don't sleep much, to be fair.
How do you? I always think if I didn't sleep as much, I'd get so much more done. And that's exactly proving it. 2 marathons in 4 weeks. So for anybody that doesn't know who you are, Kylie Ann, or hasn't listened to the past episodes, could you give us a bit of a background as to how you got into the industry and how you got to where you are today, please?
Yeah, so I started working for Barclays when I was 17 and I worked my way up from there. So I ended up advising for Barclays and then I left there to go to an estate agent's. I was there for about 4 years and then after I'd done a while there, I knew that I wanted to go self-employed and have more control over the customer journey and the focus being on the customer rather than being a number, which I feel like they do feel in a lot of estate agents and corporate organisations as well. So I just wanted it all to be about the customer. So that's when I made the leap and I started under the Primis firm called Linear. So I was part of Linear for 4 years, I think, and then KAG moved over under Primis directly then, and we've done that ever since.
Oh, right. And then, so when did you move? When did you start as KAG? How?
So 2020, we started the process of moving over from Linear, and then I think it does take quite a long time to go through. So I think it was 2022 that we were officially authorised. So yeah.
And was it just yourself at that point, or did you have team members?
No. So when we did the switch over from Linear to KAG, there was myself and one other advisor and an admin.
Oh, right. Okay. So you had quite an established team by then, because I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast, they might be in a position where they're advising on their own at the moment. They're doing the advising, the admin, the social media as well at the same time. And a lot of people like to hear from people like yourself that have built a successful business and built a team of 8 staff on the payroll now. And they think, when is it the right time for me to hire somebody? Was there a light bulb moment for you? And how did you make that decision?
In all honesty, I left it too late. If I could go back and have a word with myself sooner, I would have done, because I ended up doing too much. I took on far too much. I should have got an admin sooner because I was
Hmm.
doing everything. And I definitely should have taken on another advisor sooner as well. But I was a bit of a control freak, trying to run
Right.
around doing everything. I was convinced that if I weren't doing it, I couldn't trust someone else to do it to the same standard I would. So yeah, I left it too late. I think I could have probably started to do it 2 years before I did.
Wow.
Um,
So
but
for 2 years, you did
yeah,
everything.
yeah. So it ended up putting me in a position where I was doing 90-hour weeks. I was having to turn quite a lot of customers away. And it was at
Hmm.
that point where I really thought, right, something needs to give here. And that's when Max actually got in contact with me, who was my client, and he was getting made redundant. He wanted to do his
Hmm.
CMAP. So it just seemed like the perfect time for him to come in. And then it was only really from then, seeing how he came in, how well that worked, having someone else to work with, how it took pressure off me, that it just accelerated from there, because I could see how it was going to play out. And that
Hmm.
gave me the confidence to then think, well, actually, we need an admin. We can then get another advisor. We can then get another admin. And it just sort of snowballed from there.
So I suppose the advice is doing it earlier if you are under that pressure. I suppose if you've got to be in a financial position to be able to do it. But I think
Yeah.
what I was going to ask you is what stopped you from doing it. And by the sounds of it, it was more control more than anything.
Yeah, and having the time to actually sit and hire someone and try and find the right person. Um,
Hmm.
and I think because experience at the estate agents had taught me, what bad service people were getting out there, that I never wanted that to happen. And I only felt the way they could get good service was by me doing everything, which is so wrong. And I think there's a lot of people that are in this industry that have done the same thing as me. They've hired too late because they wanted control. But then
Hmm.
once you do it and once you make that leap and know that there are people that can work for you that do a great job, you ease off a bit and you get used to it
You
and then
give up.
think, why did I not do it sooner?
How did you get over that initial giving up control of stuff? What did you have a chat with yourself? How did it come about?
Yeah, I think it was just, I just pushed myself to learn to delegate and to not try and
Hmm.
do everything. And really, I knew that I couldn't keep going at 90 hours a week. And it was a job that I loved, but I was worried I was going to end up hating it, doing all the
Hmm.
hours under the sun. Um, and that I did it so that I could have more of a work-life balance as well. And when in reality, it had gone the other way. So yeah, I think once I'd had a word with myself, realised that I didn't need to do everything, and brought that
Yeah.
first person in, it just then gave me the confidence to keep going with it.
And then built the team from now. And now you've got 8 members of staff. So it
Yeah,
just shows that by giving up that control, that you can build something even bigger than.
yeah,
And your customer service levels haven't dropped, I imagined,
no,
over by hiring staff. They've probably gone up because
yeah,
Max, for example, can spend more time with that person than you would be able to.
yeah,
So you've moved away from the 90-hour weeks, which is
yeah,
great. So what does your normal week look like now? So if you say to us, right, Monday I do X, Y, and Z, Tuesday I do X, Y, and Z, how
yeah.
does your week look?
So it's set up very simply, in all honesty. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I have appointments in. So I'm still advising 4 days a week, which a lot of people say you're mad, but I love it. I still love
You enjoy it?
advising. I honestly thought 2 years ago by now I might have stopped advising, but I think while I'm still loving it as much as I am, there's no reason for me to do that, and I
Hmm.
still feel like I'm good at it and I get good feedback and everything. So um, yeah, I'm still advising 4 days a week, but my diary is very structured in terms of I'll have so many appointments in, so much time for all my prep and my research and everything.
Hmm.
I've got two administrators that look after my diary as well, so they always make sure that they're on top of it and I've got enough time for everything. And then my Wednesday is my full committed office day, so that's where I'll do things like the payroll, the commissions, the social media, everything like that. The reviews with the staff is all done on a Wednesday.
And how strict are you with that Wednesday? So say if a BDM phone, right, okay. And that's what I wanted to try and get across because and I'm really guilty of it. Monday, I'm doing socials. That's for my socials. And then somebody phones up and goes, can we have a quick chat about this? And I won't have the willpower. Have you got any tips on how to keep that Wednesday free?
I think once you've done it for long enough, it's just like a non-negotiable, because I know that if I don't get it done on that Wednesday, it's probably not going to happen that week because the other days are
Okay.
so busy. And I think especially with social media, you know how consistent I've been from day one with it. And a lot of that is down to having the time blocked out. And if I don't get it done on that Wednesday, it won't happen for that week. And that's a big deal to me, having a week of no socials going on or no videos been done.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, because it means so much to me, I just won't ever let it slide.
So you create, and we'll get into the social media section shortly, but you create your content like a week in advance. Is that how
Yeah,
you do it?
yeah.
Okay, fab. So let's get into social media then. So before we talk about what I really want to get into is the crux of how you create the videos,
Mhm.
consistency, how you come up with the topics. But before we get into that, what's your favorite platform? Let's do it. Your favorite platform personally, and then
Mhm.
your favorite platform for business.
So favorite personally is Instagram. Favorite for the
Okay.
business is TikTok.
Oh, right. Okay. That's surprising.
Yeah.
And why would you say, personally, why would you say Instagram, and then business, why would you say TikTok?
So personally for Instagram, I don't know. It's comfortable, and it's a comfortable app. Like
Right.
I don't think it's changed that much since it was first launched. Apart from it having reels now,
Hmm.
I'm a very visual person, and I think with it being a mix of pictures and videos, it ticks those boxes for me. And I think
For you.
it's good for business, but it's good for personal accounts as well. In terms of the business side, we saw more growth with TikTok than anything else, which is probably
Hmm.
why I prefer it so much for business. I think your reach is a lot bigger on TikTok. You pretty much always get more views on TikTok than you would Instagram or Facebook, just because it's set up for video.
Hmm.
And we get more business off TikTok than anything else as well.
Sorry, so that was my next question. What are the business levels like on TikTok compared to the other channels?
So if I had to do a percentage, I would probably say 80% is from TikTok, and then probably the other 20% is split evenly between Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, that's interesting. So, and those quality of the leads, because TikTok, it's a changing audience, and people maybe think TikTok, if they thought last year it was a dancing app, this year it's definitely an informative app, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Massively.
Um, yeah, I mean, in terms of quality, when we were getting huge volumes of leads from TikTok, it was difficult because you were sort of sifting through a lot, and there was a lot of time wasters, and there was a lot that wasn't ever going to go anywhere. But I suppose when you sort of opening yourself up to that level of leads, you're always going to drop in quality.
Hmm.
So I think our biggest challenge with TikTok is trying, it sounds ridiculous, but trying not to get too many views, because we'd
Right,
find
okay.
that if one video went absolutely bonkers, the phone would not stop ringing all day, and then we had three admins tied up just booking appointments in all day, which
And
they'll be
those
broke.
appointments might not be very
Yeah,
good. It's a nice problem to have, I know.
yeah, and there'll be brokers listening to this thinking, what is she talking about? But you have to balance it, because having an influx of appointments that you don't know whether they're all good, the diaries are full for the next 3 weeks. You've then got someone coming back to you that you spoke to a week ago that's had an offer accepted. It affects everything.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there's not really a way that you can dictate how many views you're going to get, but that's why we strip them back to just going back to basics with information videos. We'll get the topics from whatever messages we've had that week, and we'll watch
Okay.
them to create a video off the back of it. All cases that we've dealt with that week, we'll use them so
That
it's real
you've
life examples.
Okay, so this is what I really wanted to get into the crux of is your content on TikTok. As soon as you say TikTok, if people don't use it, they automatically think doing a silly dance or doing like a lip sync video. And it's completely changed from that, hasn't it? It's
Hmm.
a place that a lot of people go for information now. So if you look at Kylie Ann's channel, you'll see you said before the podcast started it's about 95% informative and 5% silly
Yeah,
dances or
yeah.
celebrating Friday videos. Now those 95% videos, they're really informative. Like you say, how do you get the topics to those videos? A lot of people watching will be like, don't even know where to start. I don't know what to make a video about. How do you get those topics, Kylie?
So they're generally from cases that we've dealt with that week, people that have messaged us and asked us questions, because we do get a lot of messages on TikTok saying, this is my situation, what can I do? And I might use that as an example for a video. Past videos that we've done maybe a year ago that have done well, I'll go back and look at, what got good traction and use that to do it again, but maybe bring it up to date. I also sometimes, if I am struggling, there's a lot of forums on Facebook, asking mortgage advisors questions. I might go on
Right.
and have a look at them to see what questions people are asking that week, just so that it is relevant. But it can come from anywhere, really. I might be driving along and something might pop into my head and think I've not actually done that before. But there is so many topics you can cover. People think mortgages are boring, but there is so much information within our sector that people can't get their heads around. So I never really run out of ideas, if I'm honest.
You always have idea, and
Yeah,
that's my point, is to say that there's so much out, there's so many different resources out. Like the Facebook forums is a great way to do it. Reddit as well, which is
yeah,
like an American forum website, is great. I really like the way that you go back to old videos and go, right, what was successful this time last year. If you did a video this year in April talking about moving house, that could be something that's really informative
yeah,
this year.
yeah,
So that's a tip for anybody listening: is don't just think a video can only be used once. You could, if you didn't have the time, go and repost that video if you
yeah,
wanted to.
yeah, yeah,
There won't be that much of a difference, will there? Apart from a £5,000 deposit mortgage. That's the only real
yeah,
thing that's
yeah,
changed within those
yeah.
12 months. So I think that's a great tip that Kylie Ann did there. Go back to content that worked this time last year and either update it or repost it. So on a Wednesday, let's do a scenario. You've got your list of 10 questions that you've got from your Facebook forums, you've got from your clients that have asked, and you've got from appointments or TikTok.
Yeah.
You've got those ready to go. Do you then write a script before you start recording, or do you do it ad lib?
Nah, just go for it.
Okay, you just go for it. Right. Okay. So, how do you record the video? Do you use any equipment? Do you do fancy cameras? Do you have a fancy tripod? What do you use?
Absolutely nothing, just my phone. I wish
Really?
it
And
was more high spec because it sounds so basic, but yeah, I literally just use my phone because I'm so limited for time and I just need to film them. I've got quicker as the years have gone on, and now I can probably get all of my videos done for the week and edited within half an hour.
wow.
So because I'm doing it quickly, I mean, there's some people that will spend a day on doing the videos because they'll be adding loads of effects in and making them fancy and everything else. And in all honesty, I just don't think it's needed. I think people appreciate simplicity. And I mean, TikTok's now a bigger search engine than Google because, in a way, I'm a complete nerd with this type of information, and I've read up on a lot of books about the psychology behind it and why we like videos. And we are like goldfish now. We want information quickly. We don't retain anything as well as we used to. So that's why videos do so well. And I think when people are searching and they're thinking of a mortgage question, they're not bothered about what you're wearing, what you're doing, what's behind you. It is just, I want that answer and I want to get it quickly. So I think stripping it back and just keeping it basic has worked really well for us.
I love that because, well, if you think as a human, you just want your information quicker and quicker
Yeah,
and quicker. And I think it has gone down from, like, our attention span has gone down from 7 seconds to 5 seconds. And
yeah,
that's only over the last few years,
yeah, yeah.
purely because of TikTok. And I like what you've said there, Kylie Ann. It doesn't have to be polished. The polished videos, I think, are for YouTube and the longer form pieces of
Yeah,
content. But if you go and look at Kylie Ann's, and I don't want to use the word just here as a detriment, but what Kylie Ann does, he just gets a phone out, hits the camera button, records, face to camera, no fancy editing, subtitles, heading, done. Get it
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
You could create 10 videos in the time it could take you to create one really polished video.
yeah,
Law of averages say if you put 10 videos out there, you're 10 times more likely than one video to go. I don't like to use the word viral, but to get more views than
yeah,
one
yeah,
polished video would. And I think by doing the polished videos, you may have done it in the past because you spend so much time on it. you're willing it to do well.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to do well because I've spent 2 hours editing that. It
Yeah.
better do well. And then when it doesn't, you think, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Whereas when Kylie, if you do a quick 30-second face to camera and it gets 1,000, I even think 1,000 views on a video is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I know your figures are a lot higher, but just by doing those short, sharp videos, it's going to appeal to so many more people, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, an example of that recently, and it was more of a silly video, but Laura, one of my advisors, went and got highlights done, and she came back with the foils in her hair, and she was like, I don't have time to sit in the hairdressers. I'm going to sit here working, and then I'll go back to get them taken out. And she was sat at a desk, and I was like, I need to get a video of this. I need to use it as content. And I literally filmed 6 seconds of her sat at a
Right.
desk on the phone with the foils in and her smiling at the camera. And within an hour, I think it had about 20,000 views. And it was,
Really?
people loved it because it was like, God, I can see myself in it. You know, I'm a busy mum. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to get my hair done. And it was so simple, but it's not
It
polished.
works.
No effects on it, but people got it. You know, they could relate to it straight away.
And that's it. It's that relatability, isn't it? It's busy moms, I'm at work. But then the second thing is it almost breaks up the business content. So
Yeah,
it makes people think, why are CAG Financial talking about this? Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? That's where it's more the more relatable content you can upload to break up the business content, because you don't
hmm,
want to do a photo or a video of someone with falls in their hair every time.
yeah,
But then you do want to, do you know what I mean? You want to inject a bit of personality and a bit of behind the scenes, I suppose.
yeah. And I
Okay,
think
so sorry.
one thing TikTok has done is, I mean, it's built us up as a brand, but I think it's stripped away what we actually do in a lot of ways so that people can see us as people and as a team and like our own personalities. Because when we do the team videos, we find a lot of the time that, sorry, a really noisy car's going past.
Got the side. Are you like front face in the office where you are at the minute? Yeah.
Yeah. And so when someone books in, we have had quite a few people say to us, "Oh yeah, you're Laura, the one with the files in hair," or whatever. You know, they'll pick it up from our
Ah.
videos that is who they're dealing with. So I think it just makes you a bit more human as well.
And it just breaks down that barrier, doesn't it? Barrier to entry. They know that you're real people. Oh yeah, Laura, you're the one that had the falls in the hair. You know what I mean? It's just a sign up appointment then, instead of, right, you tell me what you can do for me.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
difference. And then we're going to touch a bit on the graphic side of things. So when you upload to social, you're not just doing videos. When you're uploading to Facebook and Instagram, you are very strong on having a very strong brand, aren't you? How do you make sure your colors, your logos are all consistent in all your posts? What software do you use? How do you upload it?
So I just use Canva.
Okay.
Again, it's very simple posts. I try and not overcomplicate it. We'll post a lot of reviews because they do really well. We'll get a lot of customers coming to us saying, "Oh, we've read this review online." But yeah, it's reviews. It's posts about topics that have been in the news that week, a new product, um, something that we've done to maybe change a customer's situation. You know, so how our advice has affected them, different
Mhm.
things like that. But yeah, it's all on Canva, and obviously you'll know from using it a lot that you can save all your colours and everything on there.
And that's, I wanted people to hear that, to say somebody that's doing 4 days worth of advising, managing a team of 8 staff, finds that Canva's really useful because you can save your colours, you can save your
Mm-hmm.
logo, and I'm I like to use this podcast to share tools that will save guys a lot of time that are listening,
Yeah.
and Canva can definitely do that. Okay, so going back to the videos, trends, and this is where we'll finish it on social media. Do you do any trends that come up on TikTok or Instagram?
When we first started on TikTok, we would, because in all honesty, we had no idea what we were doing. And
Okay.
back then, I mean, how long have we been on TikTok now? Probably 3 years, I'd say. Back then, that is what it was for. You know, it was for the
Hmm.
silly dancing, it was for trending sounds and things like that. So that we somehow found a way to incorporate that into what we did. Whereas now it is stripped back from that. So I'd say 95% it is information. 5% is us doing silly team videos, which we try and do once a week, and that will be on whatever we've chosen to do. So it might be something that one of us has seen on there, or it might just be something that one of us comes up with that day. But I think you need a mixture. I think you definitely need a mixture. And I don't know, some people have said to us, "Oh, do you not feel silly? Do you not feel like it makes you look unprofessional?" And in all honesty, no. I think it's the complete opposite. I think people feel more comfortable approaching us because they know we're not these rigid people that have no personality. They can see from us messing about together that we do work really well together. We all get on, and we can have a bit of fun while we're doing it.
And that's your personality shining through as a team.
Yeah,
If you ran a corporate company where it was right shirt and tie, suit and booted every day, you probably wouldn't do those videos because they
no,
don't fit your personality.
no,
So I like that you talk about that because you're making videos that fit you guys instead of the other way around, forcing yourself to do them or
yeah,
forcing yourself to do really professional videos when, not saying that you're not professional, but you're showing a bit more of your personality through these videos, aren't you?
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
it's funny because the silly videos that we do together will always be the most watched on Facebook and Instagram.
Hmm.
And I think it's because Facebook and Instagram, you've got that community. So there's a lot of people on there that know us all individually that are
Okay,
seeing
right.
them videos and then they'll share them. So we always know that they're going to do well on Instagram and Facebook. Whereas with TikTok, it's a mixture. You never really know what views you're going to get on what content you're putting out. But it's just nice to show people a different side to the business rather than it all being about come to us for your mortgage. It's making
Exactly.
people see you in a different light.
And it's not just seeing them in the light when you release it today. It's not them just watching the video over the next 2 days or the week. If somebody finds out who you are, say a referral from a friend, and they go and look through your grid, whatever platform it's on, they might see that funny video from 6 months ago and they can watch 5 informative videos about mortgages or 5 posts about social media success. And then they'll see a funny video and go, I can actually resonate to them. So it's not the video just for this week that you're creating.
Yeah,
It's going to exist forever, isn't it, on your socials?
yeah.
We've talked a lot about social media there. And before we get into the strategy question, we like to donate £10 to a charity of your choice. So which charity did you want us to make the donation to, Kylie Ann?
Cancer research, please.
Cancer research. We will make that one. Fab. Okay, perfect. Now, this is a question that we ask everybody that comes onto the podcast. So we're going to pretend that you've moved to the north of Scotland. You've got a laptop, a mobile phone, and an internet connection. What would you do to start generating new mortgage business?
So I think I'd get all my socials set up to begin with, get
Okay.
into as many community groups as possible on Facebook, and start posting, start introducing yourself to people, and then get out and about as well. I think finding independent businesses at the minute, they're struggling as a lot of
Okay.
businesses are, but I think the small independent ones we try and have a good relationship with in our local area, and I think they can work wonders for you. So I think even just going into a coffee shop that's an independent and talking to them and handing business cards,
Like that.
going back to basics really is what I'd do.
I love that. You haven't even talked about the laptop or hardly any social media. I'd set them up, but it's
Yeah.
about integrating yourself into the local community. And I suppose you don't know what that conversation can lead to, can you, with the local coffee shop or the independent shop
No,
that's on the high street?
I think for your business to do well on a local level, you almost have to make yourself into a little local celebrity.
Yeah,
And as cheesy as that sounds, it's everyone should know who you are if you want to do well in the local area. And I think the best businesses, people can say straight away, "Oh yeah, that's that business. I know who owns that," and at least know what you look like.
yeah.
So yeah, you can
And that's
obviously
where
do
I'd
that
say,
with the socials and your videos and everything. But I
yeah.
think getting yourself out there is a huge part of it.
And that's what I'd say, exactly what Kylie Ann said there, is get known as the local celebrity. Then with your social media posts, attach a colour or a brand to that. So when people see your social media posts, they automatically think of you off the back of that colour. I'm a big believer in what you've said there, speaking to coffee shops, interacting with them on social. To become a local celebrity, set up like a TV channel where you interview the coffee shop owner. You know what I mean? You do a 60-second video with them. They're going to share it to their channels with your face on it and your branding.
Yeah.
And then you can do the opposite and just build yourself. I love that. Become that local celebrity, because you're going to get known and found a lot quicker, especially if you're starting out from scratch.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, Kylie Ann, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate your time. Where can people connect with you if they want to see what you do or have a chat with you?
Everywhere. But yeah, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Fantastic. Right. And we won't leave it 3 years to get you on next time. It won't be that long this next time. Appreciate you coming on, Kylie Ann. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
It's just stopping recording there. It should do. I've pressed stop in.